there, I'm Jay Hopkinson and welcome once again to Geeky Goblin. In this episode we're going to be showing you how to paint some skeletons. So just a quick and easy way to paint skeletons for any tabletop system. The skeletons I'm going to be using are the Oathmark Skeletons. They are 28mm, you get 30 in the box and they cost me £22.50, so that's much less than £1 a model. £25 is the recommended retail price. I got these from Firestorm Games, so I think that's like 10% off there. So first of all, what we're going to do is going to open the box up so you can see what you get in the box. Then after that, we're going to assemble some miniatures and we're going to paint 5 of them all in exactly the same way, just to see how quick and easy it is to get them on the table. So let's go and have a look. So one box of Oathmark Skeleton Infantry. It says on the back here, the lands of the marches are littered with the bones of the dead. Through dark magics known only to a few, these bones can be reanimated and great armies raised from the remains of ancient soldiers, casualties of 1,000 battles. Or one battle. Doesn't matter, does it? You know. So basically, we're going to have a look inside this box. I've already opened it. It's not exactly an unboxing. But for me, 30 models for £22.50 is pretty epic. So they are very nice looking models as well. There used to be a set, I can't remember who made them actually, but a while ago that were very similar, but there were so many parts to them, it was a bit of a nightmare putting them all together. I think it was the Wargames factory, and you had like individual feet that had to be glued onto the legs and everything, but these are almost the same, but with, you know, less effort. So let's have a look what we get. I might as well tell you what I like and don't like about this box set as well, actually. So the first thing that I don't like about it is the bases. They're too big. I think they're 25mm, and really ideally for most games you're looking at 20mm for skeletons. Not the end of the world, people can put on whatever they want. I presume in Oathmark they're meant to be on 25 and that's why it's like that. So like I said, not the end of the world. Then the next thing, it is the same sprue 6 times. So it does say that there is enough in here to make enough warriors to be armed with bows, spears or hand weapons. There is enough bows to make all 30 of them bowmen. There's 6 on a sprue. Let's move that out of the way. There's 6 on a sprue. So there's actually enough there to make, sorry, 5 on a sprue. 5 models on a sprue as well. So there's enough there to make 5 bowmen, as you can see, 5 bows there, 5 bow arms, there's 5 spears. There's only 4 swords, which annoys me a little bit because I kind of wanted to make them all as sword and shield. So that's a bit of a shame. But there are 2 axes, so, you know, you can have a few axe wielders there to substitute swordsmen. There are 5 shields, so obviously you can do the shields, but 1 more sword would have been really handy, I think. So, a bit of a shame there. So these are what the actual guys look like. So, you know, not terrible poses. They look quite decent. Looks to me like they're all in different poses. Yep, they are. And then you get a few heads there. There's enough heads, I believe, to do all 5 of them without helmets or all 5 with helmets. So if you want to go for the classic older look with less armour to paint, then you can just go for the basic heads, which is probably what I will do. Maybe I'll only use armoured helmets to represent commanders, that sort of thing. So there we go. They're not bad at all. So you get 6 of these sprues, and that gives you enough for 30, as we said. Not bad. So I've got a few that I've assembled, which I'll bring over. And we can do a little size comparison now. So we've got, this is a Lord of the Rings Legolas. So Lord of the Rings is essentially 28mm, but it's like it's not a heroic scale, so they look more realistic, I suppose. I think they're about the same as that, to be honest. But I have got some other miniatures which you might be using if you're doing like large format tabletop battle games. So this is a regiment of like men-at-arms that I've painted up a while ago for my Order of the Green Lady for Kings of War, and as you can see they're about the same size as those, so they scale in very well, very nicely indeed. Now there's obviously the Age of Sigmar Sigmarines as they're called, but this is a Basilian footman unit that I painted up, and they are a lot smaller than them, massively smaller, but you know, these are large heroic models, so in Kings of War it makes no difference anyway. You can have whatever scale you want on the table, but you know, if you're thinking about putting these in a different system, if you were going to put them in Age of Sigmar, they might look a little bit out of place, a little bit small. I've got a unit here of other models by Games Workshop. Night Haunts on a graveyard. These probably are what I would use these skeletons in if I was going to do it in that army. But if you put them in with any sort of monster or unusual looking creature, it's not going to make any difference, because what's to say that these aren't twice the size of these? Makes no difference, does it? So you can easily get them in there. So they'll go with anything monstrous as well. So the other thing I'm not too keen on about these is the fact that they come on these little round bases. I don't like that. But there's a few different ways you can deal with those. One of those is you can clip the feet off before you start painting it. What you do there is you just go round it with the clippers and just leave a little bit on the bottom of the foot. That's one way of doing it. I don't like doing that, because then when you glue it to your base, the actual surface area of glue that you've got is very small. And if you're going to do some dry brushing, which I am going to do, there's a good chance you'll snap that model back off its base and have to glue it again and again. The other option is to glue it to a base and then build up your basing around it later on. I'm not too keen on doing that either. The route that I normally go down is that I'll paint it completely and then I'll clip it off the base, glue it to another base, and then use some of the actual basing material to cover up any chips on the paint or anything like that, which is a bit of well, it's another way to cut corners, isn't it? No one's ever going to notice, so that's fine. What I've done is I've left the shields off, because I find the models look better if you paint the model first, then paint your shield separately and then glue it on. That's just a handy tip there if you've never done that before. It seems like a pain, but honestly it's worth it in the end. So I've basically got 3 combat ones. So I've got 2 with a sword, a commander with a sword, and 2 archers. What these are actually going to be used for is Dungeons and Dragons, so that makes a nice little skeleton party for D&D. They're already on bases that probably are suitable for Dungeons and Dragons, to be honest. There's no reason why you can't just leave them on those bases, but I will put them on 25mm bases so we can have a look at what we just talked about there, the different ways you can get round these horrific plastic moulded bits. But on the whole, that is a great kit, and it's really good value for money. That, you know, like I said already, 30 models for £22.50, that's pretty banging, that is. You could get 2 regiments out of that easily. So I'll go away, prep these models for painting, and this is what we'll be looking to come up with. So we'll be painting them something like this. We'll get a nice rust effect on the metal, a nice white bone. So if you watch out for the next video, that's where I'll be painting these skeletons for you. And if you've enjoyed this review, please hit subscribe and like. And thank you very much once again.